Let's talk about the fish and its place in myths and legends. We start with Egyptian mythology with the elephant fish of Oxyrhynchus. This fish ate Osiris's phallus after his brother Set killed him. The fish was considered unclean, sacred, and forbidden to eat. Another fish, Tilapia, was essential in ancient Egypt, from feeding its people to inspiring art and religion. It was linked to Hathor, had its own hieroglyph, and symbolized fertility and creation. Legends says that two tilapia fishes, Abtu and Anit, guided god Ra's solar bark. Hatmehit was the patron goddess of the city of Mendes in the Nile Delta.
I am Hatmehit, the foremost of the fish.
She was a fish goddess, symbolizing abundance and the life-giving power of the water. In Mesopotamian mythology, Apkallu were 7 demigod sages who were half men, half fish, sent by god Enki. They were led by Oannes, and their role was to teach humans writing, law, arts, and agriculture.
Etched in timeless stone.
Suhurmasu, the goatfish, was another symbol of god Enki. This creature represents the origin of the modern zodiac sign Capricorn. In Hindu mythology, Matsya was a giant fish with a golden horn, the first avatar of the god Vishnu. Matsya warned Manu of the Great Flood.
The Great Flood is coming.
Then pulled his ark to safety using a serpent rope. Makara fish served as the divine vehicle for Ganga, the goddess of the river Ganges, and Varuna, the god of the ocean. A hybrid beast, half fish and half terrestrial animal. Timingila was a gigantic fish from the ancient Indian epic Mahabharata. An immense creature called Swallower of Whales, symbolizing the danger and terror of the deep ocean. In Chinese mythology, in the legend of the Dragon Gate, millions of carp swam upstream against the Yellow River, and only the strongest had the endurance to leap the massive waterfall. Successful ones transformed into a celestial dragon, a divine beast. According to another legend, in the freezing northern ocean, there was a legendary giant fish named Kun. Eventually, Kun transformed into a giant bird called Peng, and its wings obscured the entire sky. In the Chinese epic journey to the west, there was a divine goldfish raised by the goddess Guanyin, called Inspiration King. The fish escaped to the Tongshan River and transformed into a powerful warrior. He terrorized the locals, demanding child sacrifices and wielding massive copper hammers. Then he battled the hero, Monkey King, until Guanyin trapped him in a bamboo basket, reverting him back to a small golden fish. In Japanese mythology, beneath the earth, there was a giant catfish named Namazu. God Kashima had to constantly pin the fish down with a heavy stone called the keystone. The moment the god rested, Namazu would thrash his tail, causing violent earthquakes. The Ebisu was the smiling god of fishermen and luck, one of the famous 7 lucky gods. He always held a large Red Sea bream, a symbol of fortune.
The sea rewards an honest heart.
This god represented honest labor, abundance, and the wealth that came from the sea. Bake-Kujira was a Japanese yokai, a skeletal ghost whale that attacked coastal whaling villages. It had no flesh and was always accompanied by an obscure fish and weird birds. It sought vengeance against those who hunted or ate whales. Nyngio was a fish-like creature, a beast with a monkey's mouth and shining golden scales. According to the legend of Yao Bakuni, a young girl unknowingly ate its meat and stopped aging. She lived for 800 years, watching her husbands and children die one by one, wandering the earth as a lonely, immortal woman. Isonade was a massive, shark-like monster in the seas of western Japan. It attacked sailors with its enormous hook-covered tails, symbolizing the dangers of the ocean. Another strange creature was Amabie, a mermaid-like yokai with long hair, a bird's beak, and 3 legs covered in fish scales. It emerged from the sea to prophesy good harvests and impending epidemics. It told villagers that if a plague struck, drawing and showing Amabie's image to the sick would cure them. In Maori mythology, Ika-a-Māui was a giant stingray caught by demigod Maui from his canoe. His greedy brothers attacked, hacking the fish into pieces to claim their share. According to legend, the canoe became the South Island, while the mutilated fish became the North Island of New Zealand. Tuna was a giant primordial eel that lived in the swamps. It frightened and assaulted Hina, the wife of the demigod Maui. He punished the giant eel by striking it down with his axe. He sliced the creature into pieces. Its tail formed saltwater conger eels, and the head became the freshwater eels. Tangaroa was the great god of the sea, father of all fish and reptiles. Maori people offered him prayers before fishing to avoid his wrath. According to legend, when the sea was angry, Tangaroa was battling his brother, the god of the forests. In the mythology of the Ngarrindjeri people, Pondi was a giant codfish chased by hero Ngarrindjeri down a stream. As the fish fled in panic, his tail thrashed against the banks, carving out the Murray River. After the warrior captured Pondi and cut it into pieces, he threw its fragments into water, and they became today's river fish. In the legends of the Northern Territory, 2 lovers from opposing tribes were forbidden to marry and chased to the water's edge by their elders to be punished. To escape, they jumped into water and were transformed into the barramundi fish. This species of fish changes gender from male to female, symbolizing the 2 lovers united in one life cycle. In Greek mythology, Triton was the son of Poseidon and the messenger of the deep sea. he blew his twisted conch shell like a trumpet to calm the storms and stir the waves. And all the sea creatures and the tides obeyed his commands. According to a legend, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, had to flee with her son Eros when the giant typhon attacked the gods. They jumped into the sea and turned into large fishes, tied with a long cord between their tails to escape the monster. The golden sea bream was sacred to Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Ancient Greeks believed the goddess had marked the fish with her own gold jewelry. The red mullet was sacred to Hecate, goddess of magic, witchcraft, the night, and the crossroads. Greeks offered this fish at crossroads for Hecate to protect their homes from the spirits of the underworld. The anthias fish was known as the sacred fish, as Greeks believed it kept sharks and sea monsters away from divers. As a guardian of the reef, catching an anthias was considered a crime against the gods. In Norse mythology, Jarmungandr was the massive serpent of the deep that encircled the entire world by biting its own tail. According to legend, Thor used a giant ox head as bait to hook the beast and pull it from the water. This violent fight threatened to sink the earth and pull the gods into the primordial ocean. According to another legend, to escape the wrath of the Aesir, Loki turned into a salmon and hid in the Freningor waterfall. He fled from Aesir because he killed Balder, the god of light and purity. When the gods caught him, Thor squeezed the fish tightly. And this is why, to this day, the salmon has a slender tail. Yagir was a giant of the sea who hosted parties with the gods in his underwater hall. He commanded the tides with the help of his 9 daughters, who often took the form of sea creatures. Whenever a storm rose, Yagir and his daughters guided ships to safety or dragged them into the depths of the ocean. Andwari was a powerful dwarf who lived in a secluded pool. He could turn into a giant pike to guard his ring and hoard of magical gold. Loki had captured the fish, forcing him to surrender his treasure and the cursed ring. This ring and this treasure carried a curse that destroyed every king, every powerful person who touched it. In Irish folklore, there was the salmon of knowledge that lived in the well of Shegish. The fish ate 9 magical hazelnuts that fell from the trees of wisdom and gained all the world's knowledge. According to the legend, the poet Finnegans spent 7 years fishing for this salmon. When he caught him, he asked his servant Fune to cook it but not eat it at any cost. Fune accidentally burned his thumb while cooking it and sucked his burnt thumb to ease the pain. Being the first to taste this salmon, he acquired all the world's hidden wisdom. In Welsh folklore, there was the salmon of Llynhailu, considered one of the oldest and wisest animals in Britain. The fish was a guide for King Arthur and his warriors, revealing the location of the divine prisoner, Mabon.
I will help you find Mabon.
The salmon carried Arthur's warriors on his back through the waters to reach the walls of the prison and save Mabon. In Maya mythology, Legend says that hero twins Hunapu and Shbalanke were turned into dust and cast into a river by the rulers of the underworld, Shibalba. Instead of dying, they were reincarnated as catfish. This rebirth allowed them to return to human form and ultimately defeat the Lords of Death. In Aztec mythology, Chapactli was a primeval sea monster, part crocodile, part fish, and part toad, with mouths at every joint. The gods captured the creature after god Tezcatlipoca sacrificed his own foot as bait to lure it in. The gods tore the monster's massive body apart to create the physical world, the entire earth. Another Aztec legend says that the fourth sun ended when the water goddess unleashed a flood that destroyed the world. To prevent the extinction of humanity, the people were turned into fishes to survive in the rising waters. This event marked the end of an era and explained the origin of marine life in the Aztec cycle of creation. In Pacific Northwest mythology, the Salmon people were a tribe of supernatural humans who lived in underwater villages and clothed themselves in fish skins to feed humanity. To ensure their rebirth, indigenous tribes followed a ritual where every salmon bone must be returned to the water after a meal. If a single bone was missing or mistreated, the specific salmon person would be reborn with a permanent physical deformity. In Inuit mythology, the ruler of the sea, Sedna, was created when her father chopped off her fingers as she clung to the side of his boat. As she sank, she died and was reborn as a goddess. Her severed fingers turned into the first seals, whales, and walruses. All marine creatures became part of her own body, and Sedna maintained absolute control over the ocean. In Ojibwe mythology, the trickster hero Nanabojo challenged a giant sturgeon known as the King of Fishes, who swallowed him whole. To prevent the fish from throwing him up, he used his canoe to wedge the fish's throat open and continued attacking until the sturgeon died. After the fish died and drifted to shore, gulls pecked through its flesh to create an opening and the hero escaped, claiming victory over the water spirit. In Chaga mythology, Mazomba was a giant supernatural fish who lived in waters near Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Due to its cultural impact, a crater on Neptune's moon, Triton, was named after Mazomba. In Bantu mythology, Lake Tanganyika was originally a small, hidden pool that a local family used as a secret source of fish. The family was sworn by a water spirit to never reveal the pool's location.
This pool must remain hidden.
But the mother of the family showed the spring to her lover. Enraged by this betrayal, the spirit caused the pool to explode, drowning the lovers and flooding the entire valley to create the Tanganyika Lake. In Runga Bantu mythology, Chipfolumfula was the river shutter, a colossal fish-like deity with absolute power over Mozambique's floods and droughts. This benevolent deity acted as a protector, even swallowing people to shelter them within its belly, which contained a hidden, fertile world. This deity served as the ultimate guardian of life and ensured the survival of those under its spiritual care. In the Benin Empire, the mudfish was a symbol of royalty and transformation because of its ability to survive both in water and on land. The mudfish's ability to lie dormant in dry mud and return to life with the rain symbolized the divine power of the king. Oba.